questions? All right. Well, it's 5:31, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to be talking about our kindergarten and Young 5 program here at Keystone, and we are the Comets. Okay, Keystone opened our doors 17 years ago, and we still look good inside and out. We have a great building. My name is Stacy Reed, and I'm one of the deans here, and I work with special education. I work with intervention. I've been working with kindergarten, and Mrs. Malari and I are co-leading that right now as we transition. So she's here as well. I'm going to show you just a quick picture of one of our kindergarten rooms, and then I'm going to ask some people to introduce themselves, some faces that you want to meet. We do have Mrs. Drain here, but we're going to go ahead and have our teachers introduce themselves. So our Young Fives teacher, Mrs. Draindale.
Good evening, families. My name is Ms. Draindale. This is my first year teaching at Keystone in the Young Fives program, and I'm happy that you're joining in tonight, and I would like to meet most of you if you plan to enroll.
Thanks. All right, and then Mrs. Riem.
Hi, I'm Megan Riem. I've been here at Keystone for 5 years. I've taught in both the kindergarten and the Young Fives program.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Riem. Miss Ankrill.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ashley Inkrill, and this is my first year teaching kindergarten, but I have taught second, third, and fourth grade for the past 8 years. And I really enjoyed teaching this young age, and they have just been learning so much this year. And it's just so awesome to see their growth. And I would love to have the opportunity to teach your child too.
Thanks. All right, and then we have Miss Walzak.
Hi, I'm Jessica Walzak. This is my first year at Keystone, but it is my 8th year teaching. I've been teaching pre-K and junior K, and this is, like I said, first year with Keystone in the kindergarten room. I can't wait to get to know and meet all your students that will be coming next year.
Okay, thank you. All right, we have one of our paraprofessionals with us because we are fortunate to have 2 adults in our Young 5 and Kinder rooms. We have a teacher and a paraprofessional, so we have Mrs. Herringhausen.
Hello, everyone. I am Lisa Herringhausen. I have been part of the Keystone community for, I think this is my 11th year here as a parent, and I'm also fortunate enough to be a para for kindergarten, so I'm excited to be here.
Okay, thank you. And then another face and name that you, at least the name you're probably familiar with, is I would like our admissions representative, Mrs. Lori, to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Stephanie Laurie. I'm the admissions representative for Keystone. I would be the one sending out all the emails and texts for these fun and exciting invites that we have going on. The one who you could contact to schedule your school tour and things. And I have been with Keystone for about 1.5 years.
All right, thank you. Okay. Okay, and Mrs. Malari, would you like to make a lovely introduction?
Sorry, I lost connection. I'm, being a mom. I'm Mrs. Malari. I have been at Keystone since our doors opened in 2003. I started as a teacher and have been in the dean role. This is my 3rd year as a dean, and I will be working with your kindergartners and your young fivers if you choose to join us and welcome us at Keystone. I have 3 children who also attend Keystone, and my oldest has already been through Keystone. She started in 4th grade. So I have been around for a while. I feel like sometimes I bleed Keystone. I'm very happy to be part of our community, and I'm excited to welcome more families to our fun Keystone culture.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Malari. All right. So it's always nice, especially since we don't get to be in person together. That next best thing is being able to be live together. So it's nice to be able to see some faces and some names. So again, like I said, please, if you have questions, just jot them down and we will work our best to answer them as fully as we can at the end. All right. So we educate our young fivers all the way through 8th grade here. We have 3 different hallways. We kind of break down young 5s 2, our 3 through 5, and then our middle school are 6 through 8. We are a tuition-free school. We challenge each child to achieve their best. And then one of the questions we often get is, is this a regular school? Is it a public school? Yes, we are. We have all those same services. We have speech, we have social work, occupational therapy, we have resource room, we have interventions team, we have an academic behavior support specialist. We have a ton of resources here that we love to use to support our students and our staff. One of the pillars here at Keystone is focusing on moral focus for our NHA or National Heritage Academies. So each month, we take one of our moral focus words like wisdom. We start the year with, we do lessons around that. We incorporate it into our assemblies, and we just really want to model and have students act out choices that are wise. This particular month, we're working on courage, and it's not something that we're just one and done with. We try to incorporate them and continue to maintain those throughout the year. You'll be amazed when you meet kids down the road and they've been at Keystone for a while. They'll be able to tell you what month, what moral focus, how you show it, examples, how they can apply it. There's really a lot of great things, and we like to model that to our students as well. We do have a program that we kind of have in place here called Capturing Kids' Hearts. We are all about relationship between our staff and our students, because we really know that when kids know you care about them, they want to do more, they want to know more. So we have a couple of universal things in place. We have a timeout signal, so that if any adult walks into any classroom anywhere and they show that timeout signal, every student at Keystone knows that means to stop talking and eyes are to be on the speaker. In addition, and we're working to continue to incorporate this, it's that reminder for students. We don't want students to point out and be like, how kids, shh, Instead, we just have a silent gesture, like if a friend of yours is off task or not doing what they're supposed to be doing, just put your hand over your heart, and that serves as a signal or as a reminder for them to check themselves. And then just to worry about yourself. We want to be responsible for what we do. Well, we are, as I said earlier, the Keystone Comets, and we do have sports here that start in 5th grade. I want to just preface this night knowing that right now it's a little bit different environment with the current pandemic that's going on. So everything is not as normal as it would be. But I want to present what our normal year looks like, because that's what we're hoping to be back to soon. So right now we don't have sports running, but I'm just going to, and then some of these activities, just know that these are things that we've had in place for many years, and we might be taking a pause from some of them, but they are things that we plan on getting back to. So I just want to kind of put that out there now. So the sports that we have are basketball, volleyball, cheerleading, cross country, and soccer. And that's for boys and girls. It's a picture there of our lovely gym. One thing that we love to do is just to be part of our community. So we bring in activities, and then we also attend activities in our community. Some of our families are business owners in the community, so we really like to be supportive of each other in this way. Some of the things that we do is we have a Veterans Day assembly each year, and this we were able to hold in a virtual type of format. We were really thankful about that. But we invite families with our families and veterans to come in just to recognize them. We do all kinds of drives, coat drives, clothing drives, food drives. We collect things to be able to help those that have a need. There's been times that we've adopted families and kind of come around them with encouragement and gifts of things that they need. We have book fairs where people can come from the community and be involved. We get to go out and participate in different festivals in the city, like the Strawberry Festival. We have Reading Month, which is actually coming up pretty quickly here in March. We have Learning Nights, and we were able to hold those virtually as well, which were a lot of fun. And then we have a Keystone Carnival each year where we turn our entire building into carnival games. So that's something that's been a really big hit over the years. We love having our families involved. Again, right now, parents aren't coming in, but when you can, you will have so many opportunities. We have Watchdogs, which is a program where dads can sign up and come in. They sign up and they can come and volunteer in the different classrooms, and we just love having them around our building. We have classroom volunteers that you might find working with students or making copies, helping with bulletin boards, volunteering for lunch coverage, going on field trips, all kinds of opportunities. We have a parent-teacher organization that you can be part of. You can volunteer at our book fair. You can help with fundraisers and different service projects that I kind of mentioned with our community stuff. So there are lots of ways that you can plug in and be present and involved in your child's education. We have 4 different special classes that our students are able to participate in. They have them on a rotating basis. So they would have art, music, PE, and technology. Some picture of them having a good time on the computers. All right, a lot of families ask, what does a typical day in kindergarten look like? So we just kind of put a little list here of what their day might walk through. When they come in this year, we started serving, we have a breakfast program. So as soon as they arrive at school, they take those first few minutes to do that. We have assembly where we all gather together right now virtually and do our assembly. And we love doing it at the same time so that it's like we're all together, even though we're not. They have morning work. And then, of course, they get to take their bathroom break. That's pretty important here in kindergarten. A calendar time. They learn about reading and their letters and sounds. And then we have a workshop time. And this is a great time. This is what was illustrated in that first picture that I showed you with the kindergarten picture. It's when we have our intervention and then our classroom teacher and our classroom paraprofessional. It's a hard scheduled time. So at this time, every day, kindergarten will be doing their ELA workshop. And there's 4, sometimes 5 adults that are in there working with small groups and helping students in areas that they need based on different data that we have from the testing and stuff that we do. And we have that same thing for math. So it really is an amazing time for them to have their needs met right where they are. Then they go into recess and lunch, and we do have lunch in the classroom, and we actually deliver it right to their classrooms this year. So then they take time to do some writing and some math. And then again, that math workshop, which is just like I explained for ELA. They have time to go to their specials class, and we squeeze in just another quick recess before we do science or social studies. And we rotate with that. So we'll do a science unit, and then we might do a social studies unit. And then it's time to go home and meet back up with their parents. And we have a lovely drive-line system for dismissal, and you will learn all about that. We'll explain everything with the mapping. It sure is exciting. All right, so I'm just going to kind of break down some of the things that we do in reading and math and writing for young 5s versus kindergarten. So you'll notice that the young 5s is not going to be as much, but there's still a lot that we're asking our young 5ers to do. So they're going to bounce in about 40 sight words throughout the year. They're going to be working on rhyming words, not just recognizing them, but also being able to tell you or create a rhyming pair of words. They'll be working on those opposites, breaking down words into syllables. They'll be retelling and sequencing stories and describing parts of a story. So they have a lot to do there. And then with writing, and I'm sure you know your kids probably love to write, so let them write as much as they want. They need that practice for proper letter formation. They're working on using their sounds to spell words. They're working on labeling pictures. They're going to draw a picture and then write a little sentence about that picture. They're going to be able to copy words and phrases and sentences and to create their own little sentences too. Probably be happy. Okay. All right, when we look at math, they're going to be doing a lot of counting, okay, by ones, fives, and tens, and we'd like to get them up to 100. We want them to be able to identify and order those numbers from 0 to 20, read and write their numbers to 20. And of course, if they can do those things, we're going to go ahead and take them to that next point, right? Let's get to our 30s and our 40s. We want them to have that one-to-one correspondence, be able to recognize if a set is equal. They're going to be able to copy and create and then continue extending those patterns. They'll work on position words and shapes and some addition as well. So we're going to go ahead and transition from the young fives to the kindergarten. So again, we're going to look at those letters and sounds. We really want them to work on those, and the vowels. Those can be really confusing for our kinder and first grade and second grade friends. So long and short vowels, again, those rhyming words, those creating, writing the word family words. Now in kindergarten, I know young fives, who said there was about 40 sight words. So they're going to have to know those 40 words plus another 60 words. So it's about 100 words to know in kindergarten. Our goal at the end of the year is we would love to see all of our kids reading at 30 words per minute. They work on reading their color words, their number words, digraph sounds for the SH, TH. And then they talk about all those story elements, things that are the antonyms and the synonyms. If we look at the writing, again, we're looking at proper letter formation. A lot of our kids like to start writing from the bottom up. They really should not be doing that. So we want to make sure we're showing them the proper way. They'll learn about some nouns and pronouns and adjectives and verbs. They'll be able to use those to create sentences and short stories. They'll also work on copying those phrases. And then we're going to work on adding in the proper punctuation while we're writing as well. And then we'll work on spelling our sight words correctly. When we think about math, more counting, but we're going to add the twos, and we're going to identify more numbers through 50 and sequence more numbers through 31. And we're going to start now counting backwards from 20, recognizing those quantities of 5 or less without really having to count each one individually. They're going to use those ordinal numbers, and then they'll be doing quite a bit of adding and subtracting to 10. And they're going to be working on math stories, using those strategies and problem solving to solve those word problems. They'll be doing patterns and sorting and classifying positional words as well, and then identifying those attributes of shapes and 3D shapes as well. They'll work a little bit on telling time and our coins. So as I said before, these are some events that we're not really doing these right now, but we've done them in the past. Spirit days are something that we're able to do now. We're able to, on the last Friday of each month, the students have the opportunity to pay $1 to go towards our PTO, and they get to wear a red or black, which are our school colors, shirt with a pair of jeans, or they can wear a Keystone shirt because we have Keystone spirit wear as well. There are times they get to explore apples and pumpkins. We get visits sometimes from community guests, like our fire truck, maybe some police officers. We've had 50s Day where they get to dress up like they're from the 50s and then do a lot of number related activities with 50. We've done some Thanksgiving exploration activities, a gingerbread unit. This we were able to do this year, even though we were remote. The gingerbread man dressed up and was running throughout our building, and we were able to share that video with our kindergarten families, and they were able to do some activities with gingerbread men. We have our 100th day of school, which was actually yesterday, and we do a lot of, sometimes they get to dress up like they're 100. It just kind of depends on the year what the activities are. We try to do a lot of math-related activities with tens and groupings and things related to 100. They create timelines and animal research projects, and you'll get to be part of that. They do a butterfly life cycle unit. Sometimes they'll actually bring those butterflies in. And then they have a zoo field trip, field day. This is a lot of fun. And then kindergarten graduation. So those are all of our beautiful pictures of some of our past kindergarten families. But we like to be able to answer the question that we're asked often is, how can you help prepare your child for kindergarten in the fall? If your child hasn't been in school or preschool, and especially now, a lot of people are used to being at home, right? You're going to really have to be diligent or intentional about trying to prepare your child for school. So we wrote down a few tips that might help make that first day a little bit easier on everyone. If your child still takes naps, look at starting to reduce those home and daycare wise, in advance, so that they're here all day, right? They're here from 7:40 until 3:20. So it's a full day. So we want to get them used to being up and doing things all day. Go ahead and work to establish morning and bedtime routines to make sure they're getting plenty of sleep and are able to get up and get moving in the morning. Make sure that you're reading with your child each day. It's just such a great model, and it really helps familiarize them with vocabulary that they need access to here at school. Practice recognizing and counting the numbers 1 through 10. I mean, counting is something you can do in the car that helps pass time, and then it's really useful as well. Work on the letters and sounds, recognizing their name and learning to write their name with one capital at the beginning and the rest lowercase. And then make sure that you're separating from your child. So if you're at home all the time with your child, then start to make sure you're giving them intentional time where they don't have you right by their side, because we want to help them be more independent. And that's our next bullet point here, is helping them to be more independent. So can they use the restroom by themselves? Can they pack up their backpack by themselves? Can they unpack it? Can you give them a 2-step direction and then be able to follow it? Can they open their lunch? Can they pick up after themselves? Those are all things that they're going to be doing here at school. So we want them to be as prepared as possible. So there's a few ideas that we thought we'd throw out there. Another question we often get is about our dress code. So I just thought I'd show you a little picture. We got our cutie here as our model of a good dress code. What you should know is that our middle schoolers have some additional colors that they can wear. So the khaki and blue pants, and then the white and blue shirts are for everyone, but middle schoolers, they're allowed to wear black as well, and red. So we do have all of this. You can go to our website at any time and look up our parent student handbook with all of this information in it. But just thought I'd show you a quick little picture of the different things that they can wear here at school. All right, and you're going to get to not hear me for a couple minutes, and you're going to get to hear a little story about a parent's experience. She's also an employee here. Mrs. Herringhausen really had a difficult time originally determining whether she should send her children through young fives or to kindergarten. So I'm going to mute myself and allow her an opportunity to share her story.
All right. Hello, everybody. Again, I am Mrs. Herringhausen. It's crazy. It seems like just yesterday I was in a meeting very similar to this one. Just we were in person, trying to decide if I should send my oldest to kindergarten or young fives, and that was 11 years ago. She's a freshman in high school now. It's still crazy to me. I remember I did not know much about young fives. My nephew did it at Keystone, and that's how I found out about the program, through my sister. Allison has a fall birthday. Her birthday's at the end of September. So I remember talking to her preschool teachers, and I went to the meeting, and I remember calling and talking to anybody and everybody at the school because I was so undecided. I stressed a lot about it, quite honestly. But I remember my husband was afraid. We were on our driving to the meeting, and he was like, I'm afraid we're holding her back by like not sending her to kindergarten. And we get to the meeting, we listen to everything, and we leave. He goes, I'm afraid we're pushing her too much by sending her to young fives. That sticks in my mind. But she was a very smart, academically, she was excelling. Her preschool teachers kept stressing us to send her to kindergarten, that she was more than ready for kindergarten. She was, doing math, she was reading, she knew all this stuff. And I just kept thinking, if I give her another year, because there's more than academics, there's emotional, there's, maturity and all that. And I also was looking at the fact of when she's going to college, she'd be 17 if I chose kindergarten at that time, compared to like now she's going to be 18 when she goes off to college, and how much, more mature that would be. And so we decided to go ahead and do young fives. And I'll tell you, we don't regret it at all. Like, she's been top of the class, and the teachers just keep challenging them. As she learned the pre-primer sight read list, they moved her to the primer. If she mastered the primer, they went on to the, first grade, and they just kept going, and they just kept meeting her where she was at. So 2 years later, when it was time for my youngest, who also had a fall birthday, we had to decide young fives or kindergarten without hesitation. We were like, we're going to do young fives again. And she was doing math problems at like 3. She wouldn't ask for a toy at the store. She'd ask for math workbooks or something to work on. She's crazy. And she's currently in 7th grade at Keystone, and the same thing. The teachers are amazing. They just really keep meeting her where she's at. She tells me all the time, especially for math, she's like, Mom, she's like, my teacher just keeps trying to challenge me more and more. So no, they're really, they do an amazing job. I try to look at it more, not just when they were little, but also how it would affect them when they were older. And I actually had an amazing conversation with my 7th grader just the other day. And I said, honey, do you wish you were in 8th grade and ready to go off to high school? And she told me no, that she's so thankful, that she has another year to really worry about high school. And I'm already seeing her make decisions about high school and in the future that there's no way she would have made a year ago. And so I think that's pretty amazing. I've not come across anybody. This always sticks in my mind. I've come across people saying they wish they would have done young fives, but I've never came across anyone that says they regret doing young fives. So so I really highly recommend young fives if you're thinking of it.
Thank you so much for sharing, Mrs. Herringhausen. Appreciate it. All right, so we're going to move on to a few little reminders as we near the end of our meeting. Our open enrollment ends February 26th, so we really want people to get in and get their application in prior to the 26th. You're going to have an opportunity to sign up for kindergarten testing, which is you come into the building, you bring your child, they meet with one of our wonderful teachers, and they just go through some testing, just having them perform some different skills, kind of get a feel where they are emotionally, socially, and then they can make a recommendation for whether they think your child would benefit more from young fives or kindergarten. Mrs. Lori just put in a sign up genius into the comments here, the chat box. So you have access to that. There's also tour information, and I'm going to ask her just to speak for a few minutes about some of these things.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Sorry about my mic earlier, and I was admitting people, so I didn't really get to say everything that I wanted to say. But yes, I am Stephanie Laurie. I am the admissions rep for Keystone, and I am the one that kind of organizes a lot of these kindergarten events, and the first person that we will be in contact with, and the face that you'll see when you're coming into the building, and things like that. So I did put in the chat some information about our kindergarten Young Five screening that'll be happening this month, where we'll ask you and your child to come in and sit down with one of our kindergarten teachers, and we'll kind of evaluate and assess them from there. And then our teacher will talk to you and kind of make a recommendation for kindergarten or young fives. And it'll be the similar things that Ms. Reed talked about: letter recognition, numbers and colors, and evaluate some separation with you guys. Also, I put some tour information in the chat box if you guys are interested in coming in and seeing the building. It is open for tours right now. We can walk around, and I can show you some kindergarten classrooms and just some fun things on our that we have going on in the school. So I'll also enter my contact information. If you guys have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out, give me a call, or shoot me an email, and I'm happy to get back to you guys as soon as possible with whatever questions you guys might have about Keystone.
Okay, the dates of the testing. So when I clicked on that link, it didn't work for me, but I'm going to take a look at that. But the testing is going to be the 17th and 18th, which is a Wednesday and a Thursday. And we'll be testing. We have slots every 30 minutes all day from 8:30 until 6. So please make sure that you find a time that works. Oh, let's try this one. Yes, okay, so Tuesday or Wednesday the 17th and Thursday the 18th. The date there is on the left-hand side, and then there's all those slots, and it tells you how many for each slot you can sign up for. And then again, like that tour information, if you want to get to come in, and I know you've seen pictures, but if you want to get to come in and see the building, you can schedule that. And now is your opportunity to ask any questions that you might have. If you can type those in the chat box, that would be great.
They're all signing up for tours and and testing.
Yeah, get signed up. Get signed up. Hey, if there's no questions, that means we just had a very thorough presentation. We were able to get all those things answered. That, or I gave way too much information.
Okay, I think we had Jessica Rock raise her hand. If you want to unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't find my chat box. Is there more slots in Young Fives than kindergarten, or that's kind of our concern too, is if we do, Young Fives and he misses out. So yeah, if there's more slots for one or the other open.
you want to answer that, Stephanie?
Sure. I would say that we have less seats available for young fives than we do kindergarten. We have one section of young fives and 3 sections of kindergarten. However, of those 3 sections, typically one of those sections will fill up with our young five students. So generally speaking, we have more seats available for kindergarten than we do for young fives. But that is the reason why we're doing this screening before the end of open enrollment, to kind of evaluate that and make sure that you do apply and you have applied for the right grade level for your child.
Okay.
Okay, and then we have another question. Are enrollment applications required to do the test screenings? Yes, we do. We do ask that you do apply for a seat in the school to go ahead and do a screening with us. And then, do we need a separate parent portal for a sibling if we already use one? No, you shouldn't. You should be able to use the same parent portal for your family. If you want to reach out to me separately and send me an email, I can go ahead and make sure that your children are both linked together, that they do have sibling preference if you do have a student already attending Keystone. I'm new to the state. When will we know if we have been accepted to Keystone? Like Ms. Freed said, we are accepting applications all the way up until the 26th of this month at 5 p.m. And then after that, we'll have a lottery in March. That will be the 10th, March 10th, if we do need one. So you'll find out immediately on the 10th whether or not your student has been placed in a seat or on the waiting list. And that lottery is at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. When you say enrollment application, is that the application we filled out with NHA? It would be the application that you filled out with on our website, yes. If you go to Keystone's website, there's a link there to apply to our school specifically.
Any other questions? Okay, well, if there aren't any questions, that's okay. I hope you have an opportunity to fill out an application and sign up for testing. We look forward to meeting your child and being able to meet with them and have a conversation with you. And if you think of any questions, Stephanie has put her contact information in here, and she can always refer you to one of us if we can answer or help you out in any way. Hope you have a great night tonight.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Yes, thanks for attending. Have a good evening.
Did you have a question, Tiffany? Maybe she walked away. That's possible. Okay, I think it's just us and Tiffany. All right, everyone have a wonderful night. Bye.
Good night, ladies.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Good one.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.